Hello, I'm Kent Holland. It is a pleasure to be with you today. I am the founder and principal of Construction Risk LLC, and I am presenting this workshop today on behalf of AE ProNet, and this is entitled Indemnification, Negotiating a Reasonable Clause. The first thing I'd like to do is just put up on a slide here an example of a typical clause that we might find for indemnification in a design professional contract. And then I'm going to break this clause down and show you how we would recommend to our clients that they redline this to make these changes to make it more insurable. This started off by saying that you're going to defend, indemnify, and protect. You're also going to save harmless the owner and its agents and representatives. Now what we'll do is let's look at revising the first few lines. Add a parenthetical saying except against professional liability claims with regard to defend, because there's no professional liability coverage for that defense obligation. Well, we leave the word defend in there because we can defend against general liability claims and things of that nature, but not professional. We also deleted the word protect because that sounds an awful lot like defend. And finally, we've removed the words agents and representatives because courts in parts of the country have interpreted that very broadly. Some courts have said, well, that could be a construction manager, or that could be some contractor or a consultant of your owner, client. And we want to eliminate that. Now, sometimes an owner-client will come back and say, well, wait, we're a huge developer, owner of properties, and we have these various agents that represent us on a particular property. Well, the answer to that is fine. Just tell us who that agent is, and we'll identify and indemnify that specific agent. The second area of this indemnity clause that we're going to revise deals with the idea of the distinction between first-party claims and first-party claims. We only want to indemnify for third-party claims and damages arising from such third-party claims. In the Part 3 slide here, what we've done is we're saying we're going to indemnify them for those claims, but only to the extent caused by. Okay, so if the wording was arising from or related to, we're going to strike that language because courts have interpreted that very broadly, not to require any kind of a nexus or proximate cause. And then the other thing that we've done in this is the little 2i paragraph. There are codes and ordinances that are so vague and ambiguous that we don't want to commit a warranty to compliance, because you could have a fire marshal or a government agency type that interprets a clause very differently than what a normal interpretation of an engineer or an architect might be. So what we do here is we say we're only going to indemnify them for those types of damages if we violated that clause due to our willful misconduct or failure to meet the standard of care. Now let's look at the revision to Part 4. In this little 3i, it said that we're going to indemnify for any negligence or willful misconduct whether the loss or damage is suffered or sustained by the indemnitee directly or by other persons who may seek to hold the indemnities liable. In other words, what that says is by directly, that means first party. We only want to indemnify them for their third party claim loss. Now, why do I add that caused in part? Because what we're saying in the first part was we're only going to indemnify to the extent that we've caused it by our negligence. So it's okay to say we're going to indemnify for that damages even if part of the damages are caused in part by our indemnity. The part that we're indemnifying is only our proportionate share, the part that we caused by our negligence, not what the client or the indemnity caused. And then I'm going to leave you with an example of a good contract clause. That concludes our little workshop today. I thank you for joining us. I thank AE ProNet for hosting this and for putting this on their website. Thank you very much. Goodbye.